that child's photo from the yearbook. If that child missed yearbook day and photos, we're asking them to give us photos so we can put that in there. And we're just trying to make it a lot of fun. And as Dr. Fenoy mentioned, this is really important. I think that there was a misunderstanding with some parents that we're doing this instead. We're doing this because this is the only safe way to recognize this milestone in children's lives right now. They're just about to cross the finish line, and how fabulous is it for them to be celebrated in this manner? And then if we don't have to social distance down the road towards the end of the summer, well, as Dr. Fenoy said, then principals who've been very vocal about wanting to keep that door open, and Dr. Fenoy who's been adamant about keeping that door open, well, then we can do that too. And I will promise you that communications will be there every step of the way to do what we can to also promote those graduations and make children feel special once again. So yeah, they are missing out on what everyone else has had in the years before, but I think and I hope that they know that we're trying our best and we will make this a labor of love. Dr. LaCava mentioned that he's had calls from colleagues at the Council of Great City Schools. As soon as Dr. Fenoy put out his 2 updates to parents and seniors about what we were doing with these virtual graduations, communications got calls because we were one of the first to announce this. And so everybody wants to know, how are you putting this together? How are you making it unique? And there's a lot of brainstorming going on. And now it's, of course, not just here in our district, it's across the country. It's not just in high schools, it's in colleges, it's in dental schools and law schools. So it's just the way that it is right now. And we, I promise you, are going to make the best of this situation. So that's pretty much a high-level view of what communications has been doing over the past 6 weeks. So now I would like to open it up to questions if you have any.
Mr. Manuel?
Well, I don't have any questions, but I do want to comment. Of course, I was a little bit worried about this virtual graduation, and a lot of my friends were, a lot of my peers. But after hearing this and seeing the rundown, I'm actually quite surprised at how good it's going to look and feel. And it's really surprising to me that it's going to be so unique to each school. We're going to hear our president talk. We're going to hear the valedictorian, all that stuff. It makes me feel a lot better. It makes me feel a lot better about the situation as a senior. And I do like the opportunity, if things do turn around later in the year, to still have a physical one if at all possible. But this is definitely a good step for the seniors, a good way to end the year. So thank you. I like it a lot.
Jaden, I'm glad you feel that way. We have almost 14,000 graduates, and as I mentioned, over 30 graduations. And I can promise you, we're going to try to make everyone feel as special as possible. In addition to that, without sounding too TV geeky, because this is my love, we're going to just, even the pomp and circumstance, we're playing that at the beginning, we're playing that at the end, and you'll never see a photo replicated. We're taking, lots and lots of photos out of the yearbooks. And we're just doing, as I said, whatever we can to make this as unique for each school as possible.
Jaden, I can tell you that, I've had lots of discussions with the board and other members of the upper administration. I'm sure the other board members too. I mean, there's nothing more that we would love to do for you seniors than to have a physical graduation. I mean, it breaks our hearts that we can't do it. I mean, it's the first time in history of the school district that we weren't able to do that. But I assure you that that the superintendent has told me that he's working with the principals. The principals are coming up with all kinds of different ideas, even if they can't do another graduation later, to get all the seniors together sometime during the next few months, if possible, so that you can say goodbye to your classmates, you can take pictures and say goodbye to your teachers, you can sign your yearbooks, you'll have your robes possibly, so you can take pictures with your robes on with your friends. I mean, we know that that's important to all of you. I've heard from a lot of the kids in my district, and I think they're more concerned about not walking across the stage, but just being able to say goodbye, because you didn't have that chance. You just left in the middle of the semester and thought you might come back. But at this point, you just want to be able to say goodbye. And we get that. So, the superintendent's, assured me, and I'm sure he's assured the other school board members that opportunity is out there. This is not the only thing that we want to give you. We want to give you whatever we possibly can to give you what you need to finish up your high school career. So with that said, I know that several board members want to speak. Ms. Brill, Ms. Andrews, and Ms. Whitfield. Ms. Brill first.
Thank you. So I sit in a very different situation than most of you. As you know, I only have one high school. So when I spoke to Ms. Shea, when she talked about having the congratulations from board members, the irony in my district is most of my students don't go to Park Vista. The students in my district are zoned for Boynton Beach, Olympic Heights, a few or some for West Boca and Santa Lucis. So, my thought was, and I don't know how you feel, if we're not going to just have the board chair making the congratulations, that, I would like the opportunity to just say one line at the schools, like congratulations where my students are, because my district doesn't go to Park Vista. It's the weirdest thing. Park Vista is in the corner. So I don't know how you feel about having another board member just say one sentence of congratulations, but that would be my ask, unless we're going to do just one standard speech and show our photos. So this is really for all of you to weigh in.
Ms. Brill, my understanding from talking to communications is each of you are going to give the speech for your own high schools. So I'm not giving a speech to 26 high schools. So I'm just doing the four. In fact, Claudia, you probably should have Ms. Brill. Maybe we can do two for Olympic Heights, because half of the kids at Olympic Heights are in her district and half are in my district. So, but I had no intention of taking over the responsibility of coming to your schools and doing that. So when it was first suggested to me, it was suggested that each board member takes his or her own high school. So that's the way it would work. Ms. Brill, you have a follow-up?
Thank you. So then as my follow-up, I'm fine with not doing all of the high schools that they're zoned for, but like my neighborhood is zoned for Boynton Beach. So, and some do go there. So my ask would be Olympic Heights and Boynton Beach, in addition to Park Vista, only because more students go to Olympic Heights and Boynton than Park Vista from where I live.
And Mrs. Brill, that's absolutely, I think it's exciting that you want to be involved in more, and that's just so typically you. So, I really appreciate that. So you've also gotten a request, I don't know if they've reached out to you yet, but South Tech wants you to be their main. Okay. And so in addition to that, you'll all be taking part in this kind of goofy thing I've planned about the pledge, and you're all having a spot in that saying a line. So that's going to be kind of good too. But I'll talk to you offline and we'll work that out for sure.
All right. Mrs. Whitfield, you were next, I believe.
Well, I actually had the exact same question as Ms. Brill. I was thinking that if I could just be an addition to the board member for the schools that, I'm very close with and spend a lot of time at. I think that would be wonderful, because I only have 3 schools as well. So some of those I spend a lot of time at. I'd love to congratulate those students as well. So, if there's a way to make that work, I think that would be wonderful. So thank you.
Dr. Rob?
Once we hang up, I'll write to all of you and ask you exactly which schools. And it's not a full speech. It's not a full 5-minute speech or anything like that. It's just a congratulations, we're so proud of you, that kind of a thing. And then you will be seeing the image of all of the board members. And this, again, is, of course, after the pledge, which will be really high in the show. But any schools that you want to talk to, we've purposely built in extra time to each show for that.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Whitfield. Ms. McQuinn, Dr. Robinson, then Ms. McQuinn.
Okay, thank you. So 2 things. First is, at the in-person graduations, we don't make speeches. So I don't know. I guess we want to make speeches for us. I don't know that we're making speeches for the children. But so I could imagine, though, that maybe we do a snippet of just congratulations that's each board member, like boom, 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 saying congratulations as, at the end of the ceremony or something. I don't know. I'm not interested in making speeches, because it's not my day. It's not my celebration. It's theirs. But the second thing is what I saw in the newspaper that Wellington High did, where they had the yard signs, that one for the valedictorian, it looked like one for each senior. That is fantastic. I absolutely love that. I don't know if we could pull that off for all the schools, so that they could have the signs in their front yard, so that anybody, who happened to be going by with their mask on would see the sign. I mean, and that's something they could keep. That's a memento that I think it's really fantastic. So thanks.
That's interesting. Mr. Barbieri brought that up to me also. He noticed that and asked if we would be doing anything like that. We're also doing a big social media campaign. A lot of these kids can maybe they're not driving around right now. Maybe they are. I agree. Wellington is fantastic. But yeah, so we're going to have all kinds of campaigns going like that. As far as the speeches, we weren't looking for speeches from you, but the reason why we thought of this is because at traditional graduations, you're there, you're on the stage, you're a part of these kids' lives. So we just wanted to figure out a way to build you in some way. And we still have time. So this is all, pre-production, and these pieces will be all edited together, and then they will run on the scheduled dates that anybody who goes to that designated website will now see. In addition to that, anyone who can't watch these graduations the day and hour that they're airing, they're all recorded. So we can make all of these videos available for, parents or whoever wants to see them. They're just all on YouTube after their actual time slot.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Ms. McQuinn, you were next.
Knowing this may not be popular with my peers, but I know that at graduations, the kids want to hear mostly from their principal and the kids. And of course, our superintendent, and always the superintendent. I don't, in terms of large schools, I don't see any, I'm stammering now. Typically on the school's programs, obviously they list the board members. So I think it would be great if our photos were put as part of just photos. Rather than just here's Barbara McQuinn or Frank Barbieri, that we would, have our name with our picture. I think it's great. I want to congratulate them too. I just don't know that that's the best use of the time that the schools have. So I'm going to throw that piece out there. I've already written my 30 seconds, of course, but I don't have to give my 30 seconds. I can save it for something else. So my thought is that it be the school people themselves and our superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. McQuinn. Mr. Shaw, you were next.
Yes, thank you. What Mrs. McQuinn said, I actually taped my 30 seconds today. They came to the house and did it. So I wonder, for Ms. Shea, is this changing from what we originally had heard? Because my understanding was all the board members would do 30 seconds. That would be played at the end of the graduation, and that would be that acknowledgement. Are we talking about doing something different now, or is that still the plan?
That was still my plan, that and the Pledge of Allegiance. I think you taped by the pledge today. So for that portion of it, that was my plan. So, for example, in Mrs. Brill's portion, if she wanted to do, 3 schools, we're only talking about a few seconds here, 30 seconds, as you said, and we do have this time, but we're open. We're open to whatever everybody wants to do. If you'd like to do one combined congratulations message where everyone says a few words and we just edit it together, we could do that and do that for all schools as well.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Manuel, you were next.
Yes, I just have one thing. One thing at graduation that a lot of people really remember is the senior class president turning the tassels. So if we could have each senior class president of all of the respective schools send in a video or something. Also, if that could be possible, I don't know if that's something you've already thought about, but sending in a video to maybe their principal or somebody reaching out to them. I could try to reach out to them too myself. But if we could have them inside of the virtual graduation as well, for them to turn the tassels so that we can all turn our tassels at the same time. If we're watching, that would be a power moment to me as well, and my peers too. That's something that somebody's mentioned to me about the tassels. It's important to them.
So what we have built in there right now is the principal is in 3 spots. Just a quick overview welcome when the ceremony starts. Then the principal also has a speech. And then the principal, after all of your names are read, will be doing the certification. I now certify you that you've met the requirements of graduation. I now invite you to turn your tassel from right to left. And they would be doing that. So are you saying you would like the president to be standing there next to the principal then when the principal says that and turn the tassel, or you want the...
Yeah. So at least last year, I went to Royal Palm Beach High School's graduation last year, and the senior class president was the one to state that and then say you may now turn your tassels. So I don't know if that's at all schools or if we could maybe implement something like that, but seeing your peer in the virtual graduation is just something else that we could maybe implement.
Yeah, let me just say, Jaden, I think that's a great idea. So as the person who is at every graduation, that it is something different than a principal. It's more powerful when the senior class president gets to do that. This is a very hype moment for the kids. So if at all possible, I think that would be a better solution. The principal can certify, but let the kids. This should be about the kids. Let it be all about them.
That sounds good. Okay, so at this point, after you're certified, senior class, I now invite you to turn your tassel from right to left. Got it. Okay, that's easy.
Thank you, Ms. Brill, and then Mrs. Andrews.
Thank you. So first of all, I love the suggestion from Mr. Manuel. I do think, as Dr. Robinson said, this is really about the students. It's not about us. So Mrs. McQuinn, I actually agree with what you're saying. And so, I think that I would have no problem with all of our pictures being shown at the end or a collaborative congratulations. My intent was only to say, basically, sorry, I can't be with you, but congratulations. I'm fine with just however you want to put it together, because it is about the students. And to me, it's more important that they see their senior class president turning the tassel and they can see us at the end. And that way we're at everything. So the schools like Dreyfus and all the other schools that the students go to that we may not be able to be at, they'll just see our pictures. I'm fine with that.
Mrs. Andrews.
Thank you. First of all, I would like all the seniors to know, my heart goes out for them, as everyone has said. This is a rough time. I'm happy that we have the virtual graduation as a backup plan because time is running out. But I want to thank the parents, all those parents who have sent us ideas because they truly feel that this is a fluid time. We don't know what's going to happen from day to day. And one of my requests would be that as a board, that we see the ideas that the principals came forth with, as well as the parents. And as we move through this process, yes, we have a backup plan that hopefully this is what we're going to be doing if things remain the same. But I would like to keep a current list of what parents are saying, what principals are saying, because communities want to do things, just like Wellington High. That was great. That was something that they came up with. And other people are coming up with really unique things that they can do. It may not be the formal graduation as we know it, but some things are happening. But as time flows, we don't know what's going to happen. We know we have a plan if we stay at this mode, but as a board member, I would like to keep a list of what principals are saying, what parents are saying, so that as we begin to kind of move forward, I can, be able to have input on what's going on as we move. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Andrews. Anybody else have any questions or comments they would like to make? Mrs. Shea. Mrs. Whitfield, go ahead.
So the only issue that I had was that in the agenda it said congrats from board member. So I figured it was just the one for that school. So if we can do something that's like a really brief, all 7 of us, that'd be awesome, because I really do feel attachment to more than just my 3 schools. So I don't want them to think that we didn't care enough to send any kind of a message or be a part of it at all. Because this is, I'm really proud of them as well, and I want to be a part of it if there's something that we can do. So anyway, that was my only issue for that. But if we don't need to do the video, let me know, because I was going to record it after this call. So let me know. Thanks.
Mrs. Andrews.
I just want to follow up. Will we be able to get that information? Because I do want to, it's fluid. I want to keep up with what's going on from the families, from the communities, as well as what you're doing for the virtual. We don't know what's going to happen 15, 20 days from now. So will we be able to get that information? That's the question.
So Claudia, all those emails are coming into the, Mrs. Andrews, turn your microphone, please. Yeah, I get feedback. Claudia, so all of us are getting emails from various constituents and some of the students with all kinds of ideas from families, from parents. So I would like to see what those are too, and so that at least the parents know they're being considered, that they're part of the record, and they're not just going into the board office and going nowhere, that actually, they're being considered, and parents may come up with some idea that works at one school that won't work at another, but can you make sure that somehow we get that information and so that we know that it's being followed up on?
Yes, I can. And I know that the principals have been working with these parents too. So the parents are reaching out to the board offices, but I know that they're also working with the principals. But everything that we've discussed today, I will bring up with the principals. I love the idea that Jaden had of the tassel toss. And it would be really cute to have all of the board members do some collaborative congratulations at the end. That and the pledge. I think that's a really nice touch. I just didn't want there to be only a picture of you. I wanted you guys to just have at least 30 seconds to wish them congratulations. We're sorry that we're not doing this the regular way this year. Maybe we will later in the summer, but, bravo for you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Dr. Fennoy, go ahead.
To Ms. Andrews' question, so Keith Oswald has all the information from the principal ideas, because he's been part of the work group, so that he can get that to the board. And all the ones that have come to the board office, we have all that recorded, so we can just compile all that information and get it to you. And actually, there'll be a running list because ideas are still coming in, obviously. But we have two modes of getting you that information. Keith has it all collected from the principals, and everything coming through the board office, we will compile that so you can see it.
Great, thank you. Any other questions, board members? Mr. Manuel, do you have anything else? Thank you for sticking with us today. We'll see you next week again. Board members, if you have nothing else, Dr. Fennoy, if there's nothing else on the agenda, are you ready to adjourn?
I am, but let me say this. I mean, we did it. We had our first ever virtual board meeting with little or no hiccups. So I think the one piece of feedback I would give the group is when you're not speaking, mute your mic, and it seems like we'll be pretty good. And so, Mr. Barbieri, I think all the texts I've been getting about your beard, you need to keep that for a while. And everyone else looks healthy and good. Ms. Whitfield, I'm just so happy to see you smiling. I can't wait for you to hold your baby again. And to every other member of the team, just thank you so much for all your support. Next board meeting will be a long one. We have a lot of work for the board to consider. And so, Mr. Barbieri, thank you so much for helping us get ready for this board meeting as well. Thank you.
Dr. Fennoy, and I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to thank you for you and your staff. I mean, we could go on and on naming all the different groups that have contributed to this smooth transition or smoothest possible transition to distance learning. But you've done a superb job keeping the board involved and keeping us up to date on what you're doing. Your staff has done a tremendous job. I know that everybody's pitched in from the district office to the regional offices to the school site administrators to the teachers to the custodians and everybody else. I mean, I don't want to name them all because I'll miss somebody, but thank you for the dedication and the tremendous amount of work that you and your staff have done to make sure this district is still a high-performing district, and we're still high-performing in distance learning, so we appreciate everything you've done for us. With that, we can take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mrs. Whitfield, seconded by Mrs. McQuinn. All in favor? See hands. All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
Have a good day, everybody.